Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be like 35 people or so, which is not a bad size crowd.
No, it's gonna be cool. That's like a perfect size. It's gonna be nice and tight, like no crazy spillover or anything like that. I still need to get my ticket. Actually, I have like a couple tabs open for different options. Like none of the flights suck from Portland. It's part of the problem. But it looks like I could do something Wednesday or Thursday to get in at like not a crazy late time both days.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. We have like I'm getting there on Wednesday just to like get there a day early, so I'll be there that night. And I think there will be a handful of people there that night too. I know Hidden Forces is going to be there. I think maybe Easy and Brookhawk. So there will be like some people there the 19th, just sort of like chilling and like getting set up a little bit. But then most of the people are coming on the 20th. And then we're like arranging airport transportation. I don't know if you saw this. I'm posting the schedule in your Discord just so you have some idea of like what's going on and what to expect and shit.
The place is really not super far away from the airport. It's like 15 minutes or something. Is that right?
I think it's a little bit more. I think it's like 40 or 45 minutes.
Okay. Like getting onto the roads, specific roads, probably takes more time than Google Maps is showing.
Yeah. So like on the 20th, we'll have like three. We sort of got rugged on the Unicorn bus. So we're going to probably just arrange for like some big ass Ubers to pick people up at like 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then like 6 p.m. or something on the 20th.
Okay.
And then we'll also shuttle people back to the airport on the 23rd for people flying out on the 23rd.
Flying out though may have to do like a afternoon or evening on Saturday just to get home at like a crazy time.
Yeah, I think most people are flying out like around or like need to get to the airport by around like 4 p.m. on Sunday. So we'll. You're saying flying out on Saturday? Yeah. Whatever you want to do, man. But you might be on the hook for like booking an Uber from the camp on the 22nd though. Although I know New Momo Art is also leaving that day, so there's a couple people coming in early late that you can hitch a ride with, or combine Ubers or something.
Yeah, we'll work that out there. I was looking. I mean, the Uber won't be crazy. That's what I was planning on doing anyway, just because the flights are so specific. Cool. Dude, you were missed at NFT.NYC too. It was a really good time this year. It was definitely more like 2020 vibes.
I caught a little bit of that. Well, dude, are we recording? I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, actually, we were already recording.
Oh, dope.
Cool. Let's get into it. Yeah. After a week hiatus due to NFT.NYC, my dude Rizzle's back, even though he didn't go to NFT.NYC this year, unfortunately, and was sorely missed by everyone who was like, where's Rizzle? It's not the same without him. It's still a fun time with everyone. We can talk about that. And of course, like the big topic this week we want to cover. We want to get into everything that we got cooking up for RIZZLEFEST. So, dude, what did you do with your quote unquote week off last week? I'm sure it wasn't a week off because of RIZZLEFEST this week, but
well, it's always weird though, man. When like lots of people are at one of these conferences, it does sort of feel like a ghost town, like around the metaverse or whatever when those things are going on. But we actually had like a killer whip, man. While everyone was in NFT.NYC, we had polygonal mines and crypto avatars on, and then we went into Monaverse and used the crypto avatars to play this hopping game that Scoob had made. And it was awesome, man. So it was, even though it seemed like sort of everyone was gone week, people turned out for the whip last week, which was awesome to see, and I feel like doesn't always happen when those type of events are occurring. But I don't know, man, if I didn't have RIZZLEFEST coming up, with it being my namesake this week, I probably would have made more of an effort to get to NFT.NYC. But it was sort of a combination of like, I sort of feel like I've been there, done that at this point. And it's like right before RIZZLEFEST and before NFT.NYC moved the date to this past week, I was intending on going at least for a day or two. But I don't know. I I feel like I'm in a good place for RIZZLEFEST now, and I feel like I would not have been if I was like in the madness of NFT.NYC for the past like several days. So, so no regrets, man, but some FOMO, like seeing pictures online of like, you know, friends hanging out and that kind of thing. And it's always nice to hear that I was missed and everything. But dude, would love to hear like the hot takes and like the real scoop from the ground floor of NFT.NYC, because I feel like that's usually what I look for the most. And I know you were there in it. So how was it, man?
Yeah, zooming out a little bit, I mean, your choice not to go, yeah, a little bit of FOMO, seeing everything in the timeline, but you did go to ETH Denver too. And I feel like everyone, like if they get any FOMO from any of these events, it's just like, hey, you don't have to go to every event because there's way too much overlap. It would be super redundant, I think. And you would probably be like, it's more like maybe ETH Denver this year is even better from your perspective if you would have gone to NFT.NYC. So many like same faces, I think, were at both. So like picking and choosing 1 or 2 or 3 events throughout a year to go to is probably the best way, and make sure they are spaced out would probably be okay. So it was fun. Like I was saying before, the vibes were very similar to like the 2020 NFT.NYC in particular. Why
do you think, man? Because I saw a couple people like, you know, on social media saying things similar to that, and I'm just curious to hear your take on why it was different.
So like even the quote unquote bigger events were they're more low key. It was just like a venue. Maybe they had like the art up and some other like experientials around there, but everything was pretty tame from the event perspective. And most of the meetups that I went to simply were like a bar location and people, and it was just a group of good people getting together, just like back then. So I think it was like the combination of the more or less down market folks and projects in particular, like being a little bit more cost conscious with their treasuries and what they're spending on. So it ended up being a little bit more focused on the people participating and showing up in the conversations that folks had after parties and meetups got started. Yeah, and I saw a lot of people say the same thing, and I can't think of any other reason than those major factors to influence it. Yeah. And just like people they've done the big parties already, and it's like, what's the return? Like they are fun, but there's not like a huge return on conversion or anything like that. Like Nifty Gateway and Cyber Brokerage did a big thing last year, amazing, but like we had the IRL like mint tied into there and like auctions and stuff, and it was like a full-bodied event, and those extra elements were, first of all, most people missed them, and then other than that, it's just like people had a great time, snapped some good pictures, moved on to the next event. So you're not really getting a ton of bang for your buck.
I feel like in the beginning, sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going, dude.
I was just gonna say, I feel like early on those parties were almost just like a flex, like, you know what I mean, that they could do it, and it was almost like a pissing contest of who could throw like a bigger, cooler party. But that's sort of one of the reasons why I didn't feel as bad about missing it this year. It's sort of the same thing. I'm like, I've been there, done that, but I dig that kind of vibe that you're talking about. Let me ask you this though: did you go to any of the actual conference at all?
Dude, of course not.
I mean, I wouldn't have either. I didn't even buy a ticket last year. I was just confirming that we're talking about like New York City, not necessarily NFT.NYC.
Yeah, I mean, just to be super clear too, like didn't buy a ticket. I heard they're like $600 or something. It turned out, from what I heard from other folks that had like swung through the conference, that they weren't even checking for tickets either. So imagine if you would have bought a ticket and gone there, and they're just like, no one's checking for anything. It's like the ultimate rug. I don't know what was going on in that front. Again, that was hearsay. I didn't verify it firsthand, but it sounds like some like stupid thing they would do, because they just constantly like whiff on easy layups and stuff like that. But everyone else is saying the same thing too. Its biggest utility and best utility, the NFT.NYC conference, literally is just saying that they're doing it a specific week in the year. Yeah. And then people are like, yeah, there we go. That's all we need to start booking tickets, meet up with everyone and not go to the conference with. They should honestly just like not do a conference and just say they are. And people literally won't care, as long as they're not charging people to go to a fake conference.
So we had talked on either the last podcast or two podcasts ago about, NFT.NYC sort of losing their foothold as like the NFT event that anchors like, the NFT universe or whatever. And it had been for a long time. Do you feel like this helped or hurt their case in any way? Or you feel like it's like net neutral, or, what do you think?
Because the people did actually show up to the event, and a lot of people, again, they criminally underwhelmed with what they saw, or like the lack thereof, with no one actually there present or anything like that. And I know there's a lot more people that came to the realization, it's like we really can avoid it. It's totally avoidable, and we should just come here on our own as a group, as a community, whatever, around that same time, and just do the satellite thing. But like, maybe someone's going to build something or come up with a clever solution to actually accomplish that. But until someone actually steps up and says like, hey, we're going to be like the anchor reason why you need to come here, I still can foresee NFT.NYC just continuing to do its thing in a way that's entirely just not fun and boring and a waste of time and a cash drain on folks to get their tickets heading forward, just to continue to be that anchor for everyone else to do their shit around. Otherwise, there's no one else that can really step into the void as far as I see it. Like, Yuga and all those folks are doing their own thing, are so distinct at this point that if they were to jump in, I think a lot of people would be probably turned off or feel like NFT.NYC is no longer for them. It's just for some PFP stands or whatever. So for as much as we shit on NFT.NYC, like they do that great service of making it easy for everyone to align on that specific week or whatever, that they are doing their underwhelming event.
No, it's, and I go back and forth, man. For a few years there, it was exciting going to NYC, and it is exciting that it's ground zero, and it's like actually fairly local for me, or like reasonably local. So I like that from a convenience standpoint of that being sort of like the default ground zero. And it's so crazy, man. It's like such madness. I feel like every one of the last few that I've been to, and like just the shuffling from like side events to side events. But part of me does like love that in small doses. Like, I feel like it's kind of fun to return to, once a year, once every other year, just to sort of do the thing. But I forget who posted it, man, but someone was talking about like, how, I think it might've been Rare Skrilla actually, like how many of these like high school reunions can you do like in 1 year or whatever? And that's, sort of touching on your point of ETH Denver and there being a lot of overlap in faces. And, I was saying this to my wife as well the other day, in the beginning, like a lot of us didn't even know each other at all in real life. And it's funny, you and I did the podcast for like a year and a half without having any idea what each other looked like or anything.
Yeah.
And so especially those first several events, honestly, you're meeting like a new cast of characters that have been like important in your life. Like, if you're doing this full time, like we are, like, these are people who have been pivotal in, our history and our roles here and everything. But it feels like the more of these things I go to, the less of those people I've never met, like, are there, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, in the beginning I was like, bam, like I show up to this thing and I like check 75 boxes of like people I had never met before and like wouldn't even be able to sleep at night because I was like so overwhelmed and it was like so cool and exciting and everything. Now you go to these things and like, you inevitably meet like a bunch of people, but like you're sort of like bang for the buck in terms of like going to these things to like have novel social experiences with people you've never really met before. I feel like that has sort of like dissipated and not, it's inevitable and it's not bad, but it's like, oh, cool, man. I saw you at like the last thing and the thing before that. What's up? How's it been going? Rather than like, oh my God, I've known you for so long. Like, I don't know, just different vibes.
Totally. Shout out Skrilla. Total like high school reunion vibes, right? For a lot of the events. The best events around NFT.NYC were the ones where like so many different types of people were invited, but like on a smaller scale. At the end of the week, Colborn and MOCA put together like a pilgrimage to the MOCA Church in Kingston, New York. a little bit upstate, and it was set up and designed as like a NFT.NYC decompression. So Colborn, like, he had a dinner that on Friday night where he invited like 40-ish folks, and almost everyone there, it was a proper reunion. Either they had known one another only digitally and never met anyone, like Aaron Huey, whom we chatted with a bunch and had on like the whip, and it's like Nat Geo photographer doing all that. Finally met him.
That's cool.
Yeah, and about like 15 other folks that I never had met before, but have so many like mutual friends or acquaintances in between. And it was like a dinner at the church. Then we went out to some like country hotel. We're all kicking it for a couple days, hiking, like going around this like little town over there.
Yeah,
bro,
dude,
that was the good stuff. And mlo.art was there, and actually Robness was there. Die with the most likes. Everyone that I had wanted to meet up during the proper NFT.NYC like time frame, but like because of all the competing events and schedules, like just never had got to meet, or like missed one another because they went to the event later. I was earlier. All those folks were at the church, and it was kind of perfect. That small, personal, curated thing, and that's exactly what RIZZLEFEST is shaping up to be. Like even like Brookhawk, I couldn't meet him through the week. We were at the same events, and I was just early. He was later. Saw Easy for a second, but couldn't really hang out with them. So to be able to really, really kick it with these folks for a few days, I'm really looking forward to it. Otherwise, like having missed them at NFT.NYC for sure would have been like really bummed that I just didn't meet them at all. So yeah,
dude, I feel like. And did you go to the church itself?
Yeah, we were in the church eating for the dinner. It was.
Oh, dude,
it was.
I would love to hear about it.
Yeah.
So wait, before you continue, man, I just want to say, like, that's the type of thing that I would like go for. You know what I mean? Like it's something, and I feel like Coldie's karaoke party, Coldie and Anne Marie's karaoke party, sort of like anchored the NFT.NYC events for me for like the last couple years, where I was like, okay, even if I don't go to anything else, I know if I make it to this thing, it's going to be like exactly what you described, like essentially like a family reunion, and there's going to be a bunch of people there who I know that I haven't met, and there is like a ground zero within the ground zero of NFT.NYC. And talking about stuff like that, man, is the stuff that like really gives me FOMO of like and you know, one of the reasons and concepts behind RIZZLEFEST, like one of these like localized ground zero events where you can just like kick it with people who you actually like want to hang out with. Dude, I would love to hear like ground floor perspective on the church, man. I that's like on my you know, Web3 lists of places to visit, you know, top.
So in the town itself, Kingston it's like 2.5 hours away from NFT.NYC, or NYC rather. It's beautiful. It looks like this old Rust Belt town. Like there's a river with like a mini little port that the church is situated in front of, like on this like large hill that has this like winding road that leads up to it. We came in on this big ass coach bus, and we just like hit a roadblock about 5 minutes away. Like that just went to like the dirt roads and all that. So Colborn needed to come out in his little van, and we're just like, yo, everyone, hop in here. Let's get over to the church. It was all like very pilgrimagey. And the church itself, like a country church, could probably fit a couple, like 100 or so folks at max capacity, totally converted into like an artist residency, like on the main church floor, with the big space that's perfect for like huge gatherings, dinners, very intimate. There's a kitchen there, and then Colborn's whole living space is like tucked below that main church floor into like a semi-basement thing that looks really, really rad. It was perfect. Everyone got off the bus. They were like, what the hell is even going to happen? No one knew who was going to be at the dinner too, because it was so like pretty exclusive. And people like throughout the week, are you going to MOCA thing? And everyone just kept saying no. So most people were just like, all right, we'll just like eat it and see who shows up there. But Colborn had his like childhood friend put together an amazing 3-course menu. They're doing some collaboration with Avalanche. There's like some crypto social play that someone named Ludovica is helping to put on and create as part of a GOCA initiative. So they were giving us like an early sneak preview into their plans on that front. Just a ton of artists who've been touched in some shape, way, or fashion by Colborn, MOCA, and everything that they're doing. Yeah, and then everyone, of course, like is focused on eating and chatting and drinking, and yeah, went back to the hotel and crazy night of just drinking more, chatting, having fun. It was fun, man. It really was like hyper specific, but like really artist heavy. Like Una was there, crazy performance artist. Recently just had like a 333 ETH sale. To Threesomes, actually, another artist who collected her recent work. Yeah, and getting to know folks like that was just mind blowing. Like seeing them again, the people that you see from afar, maybe have some slight connection to, but otherwise, without any other compelling reason, like would never have been able to interact with. Like getting to know them was perfect, and it just everything that we're doing that's more highly curated, like in real life meetup, like that is the way. Heading forward. Keeping it nice and tight, curated whitelist of guests. It's perfect, man. It really is. It makes everything so much better and worth it.
Dude, I hope that RIZZLEFEST is that, man. It seems like it has all of the ingredients there for it and everything. And, as you know, that was sort of like the mindset behind creating this whole thing. And we put like, more tickets out there for sale than we actually sold, and wasn't really sure if this was like a concept that was going to like catch fire and we'd have like 150 like randos, show up as well that we'd have to manage. But as it turns out, man, it's like 35 people who I imagine are very similar in a lot of ways to that crowd that you were at the Museum of Crypto Church of the Museum of Crypto Art with, in terms of like, a lot of these people go back a long way with each other. A lot of people either know each other or know of each other. I don't know, man. I'm excited for like something different this time around. ETH Denver was that for me, man. We talked a little bit about before how like the sort of focus of the conference in ETH Denver was a little bit different, and I'm trying to like keep that those types of things if I'm picking and choosing my travel. Stuff that offers something different or some sort of like different experience and everything. I was actually just talking about Sam about like potentially hosting NFT Crossroads again next year in Valencia, Spain, which was like so cool and outside of the realm of stuff that I normally do. And was also like a facilitator of me meeting a lot of people across the pond who don't get over to NFT.NYC and everything. And I'm like, now there's enough of these things going on that I can be more focused on like what the most valuable experience is for me, like personally and professionally. And like, if NFT.NYC wasn't so local, this probably won't be my last NFT.NYC. Like, I'm sure I'll be at more moving forward, but I don't think if it wasn't local, I would feel like the need or the desire to, fly across the world for something similar in like, just a different location, to just Uber around or like try and like find people and everything. It's I just feel like the format has sort of been like mashed on repeat. So, So I don't know, man. I hope that like the what you're describing, man, that retreat is so cool. That's something I would like travel for or something like moving forward. If it wasn't necessarily like a side event or I don't know, man. Maybe if it was just a side event like you're talking about. But I'm like, and also sort of going back to this thing that we've like touched on a little bit before, where it feels like the NFT community is sort of like becoming more and more diversified in the sense of like collectors have their main things that they're looking for within the context of the space. And now I feel like the artists are sort of like more and more like carving out their own like artist specific niches within these spaces as well. We talked about like the anti-conference conference. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the one that was in Mexico that I know you went to, and it was also like a pretty tight, like really positive experiences. And like, I don't know, man, I hope to see more stuff like that because, as we've sort of beaten into the ground here, I feel like the biggest value add for me is those things rather than trying to just maneuver around from thing to thing to thing. So I don't know, man. It's crazy that it's coming up so quick.
Yeah, and well, you just shared the actual schedule or RIZZLEFEST schedule. It's a funny branding term. Um, dude, I'm so excited. It's nice and loose, but there's some like really appealing looking waypoints that folks can optimize their stay at RIZZLEFEST around. Like knife throwing with easy or fishing, trislets, aimless hiking. A new Momo, shout out Scott from New Momo, has a creative photo grammetry course that he's going to kick off. Flashlight tag, basketball tourney on Saturday with Brookhawk and crew. Bro, like this is going to be so fun. And having never been to Tennessee or Nashville or the country there, like being able to get into the nature of Tennessee, I'm really looking forward to that part too.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is uncharted territory for me as well. And shout out Sky Bravo, who has been on the ground floor of the camp and been a tremendous help putting this whole thing together. But yeah, man, I just put the schedule together this morning. Tried to compile all the information. But it should be fun, dude. It's like a nice combination of stuff going on the whole weekend that is like opt-in, basically. You know, there's a few other things. Meet Me Explorers is doing a dodgeball tournament. There's fishing competitions that Metafins is kicking off. He's like put up like 10 fishing poles and tackle boxes and everything for people who catch the biggest fish to take home. And it's cool. Like, I sort of put this together and was like, hey, anyone who's attending, if you want to do a thing, like I'll put you on the calendar and we can do a thing. And then like, Sandy just booked her flight. Sandy Meows, shout out Sandy. And she just like sent me a picture of like these boxes of like bracelet beads and things she's bringing for like arts and crafts. So she's been like talking to Planet Binks, who put together this like egg hunt. And I guess Easy's going out there to hide 50 eggs that have NFTs or something inside of them. So we got that going on, and they're going to like paint mandala rocks and like, but also like if you want to do nothing at all and just kick it in a canoe all weekend with a buddy or whatever, or no buddies, you can do that too. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to like honestly have a loose schedule of like fun things to do in general, because I feel like whenever I travel now, I'm like booked with like meetings and like networking events and like stuff that boxes that I have to check off. But it's cool to like bring all these people to one place and be like, yo, we can do whatever you want. Let's see what's going on today. And, if we want to check that out or just kick it by the fire or whatever, we can do that. So I don't know, man, something different, but I feel like very excited to do something different for the first time in a while. So I don't know, man, appreciate your support, man. I know you're coming out and trying to work out your travel schedule and everything. And honestly, everyone who's coming, I feel like has sort of taken a leap of faith that I'm not going to murder them in the woods or like send them on some wild goose chase and everything, which I appreciate. It does put the pressure on a little bit because like, I'm like, oh my God, I have like 35 people who I respect to like make sure, excuse me, don't have like a really shitty experience or something. But I think we did it, man. We'll see on the podcast next week, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, shout out to executing on this. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, we should do our own thing, and it never gets there because like planning it these sorts of events takes a lot of time and coordination and effort. Like, you did it the right way, like keeping it unforced, keeping it like a proper MVP, just having enough like bells and whistles to make it appealing and sound fun and interesting for folks, but keeping it open and fresh enough that like the people that actually go will help be able to fill it out and like make it into this living thing. So hopefully it inspires other people too, to take a shot at putting these things together. It's not impossible. It is a lot of work, but if you give yourself enough lead time, like you can chunk it out and get all the bits and pieces together in time for it. So looking forward to it. Really looking forward to people talking about it afterwards or during the event, sharing the tweets and seeing what the reaction from the rest of the space is, whether they're interested or thinking how, like, fuck, I should have got... I'm just anticipating so many people that are like, fuck, I knew I should have pulled the trigger on it next year or whatever. So that'll be fun and be a great first thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I have a feeling that as long as something doesn't go catastrophically wrong, which it shouldn't. It seems like all the details are all the details are locked down. I mean, I guess there's a lot of, this is one of these situations, in case you aren't like totally aware, I'm like a little bit of a control freak. But this is like one of these situations where it's too big of a thing for me to control everything myself. So I've had to put my trust and my faith in other people to be able to execute things on my behalf, which is a good lesson for me in sort of allowing that to happen. And it's inevitable. But I am glad that we didn't sell like a shitload of tickets, to be honest with you. Like this isn't something, 35 people are coming. It was just enough to break even with a little bit of wiggle room on top, so that if like we show up and something goes wrong, we can like go hit up Walmart and like save the day or something like that. But if we sold 200 tickets, we would have made some money on top of it. But I feel like it also would have been 10x the logistical nightmare, and the crowd that is coming to this made it much easier than it would be if a bunch of random people were coming. I mean, I literally know or like know by proxy every single person who's coming to this thing. And I think that actually, and a lot of the people coming do as well. So that like really helped fill out the content calendar of stuff going on, because everyone was like, oh, hell yeah, like so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are coming, like, easy. It's like, dude, I'll how about a knife throwing class? How about a creative writing class? Like, this is all fam coming. And I think that like that inspired other people to come who are from like our similar like social networks, but also like knowing that there's no pressure to do, like, this is like the whip fam, right? Like everything's like a work in progress. So like, you show up and you want to do a thing, and Trizlet's like aimless hike to nowhere ends up with like a bunch of people with soggy shoes or something. Like it's all for like the fun and the adventure, and just sort of hanging out with people and doing the thing. So not, shout out to Trizlet. I'm sure his hiking skills won't lead us to soggy depths or whatever, but we got Trizlet Taco Day on the first day of real lunch. His birthday and his wife's birthday are actually on the 20th, so we're gonna get a cake and have a little Trizlet birthday celebration the first night as well.
It's gonna be fun, man. Looking forward to it. And like a proper break too. Like this is like a decompression to the decompression of MOCA Church pilgrimage. I'm feeling like with all the good people. Yeah, everyone that's listening in, that'll be there. Shout out to you, making this happen. It'll be fun. Very excited to form these new memories and experiences with y'all. Everyone that didn't pull the trigger, prepare for some FOMO. And you'll probably get a shot at this at some later date, in some shape, way, or fashion. But yeah, stoked for it, man. And then as a result, like RIZZLEFEST coinciding with Thursday and the whip and everything. No whip. This is like an IRL whip. You can probably think of it as. You got to show up to be a part of it, otherwise you'll miss it. But yeah, we'll be back the week following with a fun little whip planned. And yeah, anything else we're missing before we sign off?
I think we got a good one when we come back on the 27th with Async Art. So look out for that. Anyone who's not able to make RIZZLEFEST, and I don't know if anyone wants us to like throw a stick in the fire in your honor or something, hit us up. And we'll burn something on your behalf. But dude, I really, really do genuinely appreciate your support, and everyone who's like on this strange adventure with us. And there's a lot of people who weren't able to make it, especially people abroad who it just wasn't in their travel plans or budget or whatever. And I know they are sending us our blessings and want us to have a good time and everything, and want this to be a success. So I'm fully aware that like, just because some people didn't attend doesn't mean they're not in support of this. And, had a lot of like really cool projects come out and sponsor like a lot of cool stuff for the attendees, who, and projects with people who weren't able to make it. So I don't know, man, I'm feeling very grateful for all the support and all the love, both yourself and everyone supporting this event. I just fucking hope it's dope, man. It should be, but I'm like, I'm so excited for it, but I will be excited when it's done and was dope, and I can be like, fuck yeah, that was dope.
It's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. And real quick, just like to help me remember too, MLO.art gave me some stickers and pins to give to you as a gift. Well, yeah, expect that and remind me if I don't give it to you right away.
Yo, thank you, Emma. Appreciate that.
Cool. Awesome, brother. Well, looking forward
Well,
to seeing you in Tennessee at RIZZLEFEST. And yeah, we can take everything from there.
sounds good, dude. Take care, man.
Peace.